Sean and Anthony, my guys from Compassion's Funeral Service. These guys are the best. If you're in Chicagoland, I'm sure you've already heard of Compassion. They are the all-encompassing funeral service from start to finish is what I would call it. Pretty revolutionary. If you're not from Chicago, I'd love to hear one of you guys talk about what you're doing with Compassion. I know you guys are deep in funeral service, in the weeds, and a pretty cool business model that they have that I think would be intriguing to most people. The way of the future is what I've been saying about you guys. So give us a rundown what's going over at Compassion, and we'll dive into your backgrounds and stuff too.
Sure. Anthony, would you like to go ahead?
Sure, sounds good. Well, Michael, thanks for having us. Appreciate it. So my name is Anthony Arzola. I'm the Senior Director of Operations for Compassion Funeral Service. Thank you for the kind introduction as well, Michael. Hyping us up. I've been a licensed funeral director for a little over 8 years at this point. Been in the industry for about 10. Graduated from Malcolm X in 2011 with the Associates in Mortuary Science. I was class president. And then in 2013, nice. I graduated from Roosevelt University with a bachelor's in business administration.
Beautiful. Sean, give us the rundown. What do you got going? What are you here for?
So, yeah. Well, my name is Sean Kramer. I'm a licensed funeral director also and embalmer. I actually am the director of marketing and sales for Compassion Funeral Service. A little background about me. I actually graduated from Worsham College in 96, 97. Got my license in 98. And just recently been with Compassion for a little over a year now. Took on the transfers and stuff like that, but then led into the marketing department. So just a little quick rundown on me.
Awesome. So what is it that you guys are doing with Compassion Funeral Service? What makes you different from other, as we would call them, removal companies? I know you're way more than that. So give us a breakdown of what Compassion is in the area.
Lead us off, Sean.
So Compassion Funeral Service is the Chicagoland's premier funeral staffing. We are more than just a trade service. We actually will help a funeral home from start to finish. If you need somebody just to come in and clean your chapel after a visitation, we got you covered. If you need transfers, removals, embalmings, ship outs, somebody standing at the consulate office, we got you covered. Such a vast amount of opportunities that we have that we can do for you guys. But Anthony, you want to share a little bit more?
Of course. A funeral staffing service is what I like to refer to it as. Mm-hmm. Basically, whatever you can think of, whatever job that is available to a funeral director within a funeral home, regardless of the type of business model you have, whether it's that traditional funeral home, brick and mortar, cremation society looking for that large volume, whatever you're trying to do within the industry, we can help with to fit your needs, essentially. Sit down, really discuss what you need, what would be beneficial for your firm, your staff, and yourself.
That's awesome. See, that's something that I've been saying for quite some time, and people that listen to the show know I've said this for years now, that the funeral industry is shifting away from those brick and mortar locations where you have a funeral director that is sitting around half the time, maybe if you're not too busy, and you're twiddling your thumbs, and then other weeks you have the funeral directors running around like crazy, like there's no way they could possibly get the work done in a day that they have to do. And I've always thought there needs to be a shift in the actual staffing part of funeral service, because it doesn't make sense that we have these giant ebbs and flows, which everyone in the industry knows that we have. Why are we not doing that with our staffing? From the perspective of a funeral director, not an owner, it's a much more relaxed lifestyle where you can work more as the work comes in and you're getting paid to do as you work. And then from a business owner point of view, you're paying people for the work that they actually do, as opposed to staffing someone for $150,000 and they sit around in solitaire 3 hours a day. I've never seen anyone do that. No.
Doesn't happen in the industry.
No. But it's the way of the future. I love that you guys are really zoning in on it. And I think that's the way more and more funeral home firms are going to go, especially with a shortage of employees, as I'm sure you guys are well aware too.
Absolutely, Michael. You hit everything that we encompass with compassion. I mean, work-life balance with the funeral director and the funeral staff.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly. Think of this as an owner going to your employees and say, you know what, you don't have to be on call, or you can have the holidays off. We got compassion funeral service taking care of you guys for those things. Just the benefit there. But you also talk about like the fixed cost and variable costs with it. Like as an owner, paying somebody 40 hours worth of work that only needs 20 hours. And that's where compassion really truly comes in. We're in that peaks and valleys. When you're busy, you're busy. We come in, we can help you out. We'll run it. We'll do whatever you need. Like Anthony says, we'll do whatever you need. We're here for you guys. And then when you're at your slow times, you don't have to reach out to us.
You're not getting sucked dry.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And those owners can have that flexibility, with vacations and also just more profit when it hits the bottom line.
Absolutely. That's really well said. Anthony, I'd love to know, like, what was your career like before you started up with Compassion? What were you getting involved with, and what motivated you to start working with your team, and how has it been for you?
So, like I said, I graduated from Michael Max in 2011. I had an internship right out of college, but it was at a funeral home in the city, and they were brand new. I'm talking, the business itself is brand new.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they didn't have enough cases for me to actually accomplish my apprenticeship.
Sure.
So I decided to go to school. That's when I went and got the bachelor's. After graduation, I said, we got to try this funeral directing thing one more time. Went to the internet, and I found the job.
Wow.
Brought me out to the western suburbs, did my internship out here, ended up shifting around for a while at a crematory. And then eventually I worked in the traditional setting for four years. After those 4 years, essentially, I was learning that the environment of that traditional funeral home just wasn't for me anymore. And I was looking for something different, something to kind of change what I see day to day.
Yeah.
And so, on happenstance, I found Compassion Funeral Service. I read the website, and I was like, you know what? It doesn't hurt to call. I called, and I liked it enough to apply. To be honest, I felt that I was taking a risk just because I had no idea what I was really getting into. And when people hear the word commission, automatically it's, oh no. But I decided that taking that risk and possibly making less in terms of income, I would gain more in terms of time and then also just my own personal well-being.
Right. Which is so huge. And we all know from all of us being in the industry from quite some time now that it takes a toll on you both physically and mentally and emotionally too. So in any way that you could balance that out is definitely a good thing. And I know myself included has gone through the times where I needed to kind of take a step away from being in the day-to-day part of funeral service because it's tough. But I think thinking about things on more of a pay as you're doing the work, it's easier for people to digest. It reminds me of someone like a salesperson, for example. They're motivated to do extra and go above and beyond because they know they're going to be compensated for it. And that's why I think there has been such a disconnect with employees and employers, because it's always like the same. It doesn't matter the level of work. If you're working harder, you should be compensated for it. And then vice versa, when things are slow, you shouldn't have to just sit around the funeral home. Like that's everyone's worst nightmare is, a Sunday afternoon and the Bears are on and you got to be sitting at the funeral home. Like, give me a break. Let me get out of here. So I think that's something that's really cool. And, a lot of funeral homes could take away from that, for that purpose. So Sean, I'd love to know your thoughts on all of that.
Absolutely. So as I was kind of saying earlier, how compassion can come in and help funeral homes at any time, through that. I think about like when even Anthony, he was the one who actually recruited me coming to Compassion also. I was a general manager of 4 funeral homes, local funeral homes, and that work-life balance kind of was taking a toll. And with Compassion, we believe in that type of work-life balance. So a full day, a full shift for or full time is like 3 days. Can you believe that? Yeah, I mean, they're hard days, long days,
right?
But they're definitely. And then taking all that to kind of get back to your question a little bit is, as funeral homes evolve, they're going to need that staffing when there's ups and downs. They're going to also, when there's that shortage also of qualified, I'd say, candidates. We have a lot of licensees, but do you have good, true directors? And those are some of the challenges that are posed upon owners these days and trying to keep their business going and keeping their margins at a good spot,
right?
Keeping keeping the flow coming in and little things like that, I guess.
Definitely. I'd love for one of you to expand on the 3-day work week. Well, what does that even mean? I don't know what you're talking about. This is foreign language to us funeral directors listening.
It does take some adjustment when you're used to the traditional model.
Every single day. So what does it mean for being a funeral director? Like what is it like for people that are in the day-to-day of it all? Because you guys are more I think on the more of the overseeing sort of level. What does it look like for your staffing that you have at Compassion on those 3-day a week shifts, quote unquote?
Make no mistake, we are in the field. We are in that van.
We're in there too.
You will see us out there. Don't worry about that.
I know that for.
But the day to day, just like you were talking about, the industry has the ebb and flow, and we follow that as well. So, for us, it might be slightly more predictable just because of our business model.
Yep.
So obviously for holidays and that kind of stuff, people would tend to call us more bad weather, things like that.
Sure.
And, I mean, I get it. That's part of the territory that we chose to work in.
Yep.
So it's not a problem. But outside of that, I mean, I'd rather be super busy than not. But hey, like I said, the ebb and flow. Some days you can be right out the door at 7 a.m. and you're in the van all day. Some days you're not getting a call till 3-4 p.m.
Yeah, it's just all part of it. And I think what it sounds like to me is more like you're talking about fireman's sort of shift. Really, is what I think of it as.
That's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Just be available, be mindful of your position, and just be ready to go and called upon. Because ultimately, we have to remember that regardless of, all the discussion about business and profits, margins, all that fun stuff, someone's passed away.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that we always keep that in mind, that that's the central focus of what we do. We go and we assist that family in that time of need and make sure that our client has the best first impression possible.
Yep. Absolutely. Go ahead, Sean.
I was going to say, absolutely. He even nailed it on the head. We try to be the reflection of that funeral home or entity that brings us on. A lot of people compliment us thinking that we're full-time staff at these different funeral homes, and based on the funeral home, they allow us to kind of just say, they're just an extension of us, or and that just it truly benefits, I think, the families, the funeral home, and us too, because we get that opportunity to be a part of that for them and help them through that grieving process as well.
Right. And you're representing, you're on their behalf. So everyone knows being as a funeral director or an owner, that first impression when you get there is so impactful. Obviously, especially if we're talking house call or nursing home with families present, it's so huge. And I think you really take that to heart and believe that we are part of that firm and we are representing, which is such a beautiful thing. And I think the way you have to do it. So for your staff, for example, it seemed like this is pretty kind of wild to me. Like, are they work from home? Would you call them almost like, or are they all sitting in a sort of a dispatch center or a funeral home? What is it like for your staff that's getting those calls throughout the day?
Sure. So normally I'll wake up. I normally have like a van partner, and we always switch out on our scheduled days and stuff. And once that 7 a.m. kicks in, as Anthony said, we're like firemen. I'm at my house, so I'm having my cup of coffee. I get to watch the news a little bit, kind of relax my day,
What a treat.
And then yeah, absolutely, and then get dispatched. But there's times where as soon as the van partner comes in, I already got a dispatch and I'm out.
Yeah.
An average day for me in my region, I would say 5 calls just for me is an average day for me.
That's a lot.
Which seems a lot, but we're in a 24-hour time frame. So there's days where those 5 come in all through from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Right.
And then I don't get anything. And then I also have those broken down into a 24-hour shift too.
Yeah.
There are a couple of us that are a little on the crazy side that do a 48-hour shift, and I'm one of those.
Oh my God. All right, Anthony, how many have you done? All right, you both have to go. Give me your record for one day. I mean, I guess one shift, quote unquote. What's your record?
1 day record is 12.
Oh my God.
48-hour shift, 26. And a lot of times it's it gets busy. So I'm not going to leave the team hanging. So I'll stay out a little extra, especially if it's, closer to my residence. But outside of that, you got to, what am I going to do? Say no? Like, no, we got to do our job. So sometimes the demands of the industry.
That's preposterous.
The demands of the industry.
Sean, could you top that? There's no way.
Well, as of now, I have not hit the 12. But maybe this might be the little fun challenge. I had 10 while I was training a brand new employee. So a new employee, his first day, he had his 10 calls.
What a treat for him.
What a treat for him.
Welcome to funeral service.
Welcome. And now he's in mortuary school. He just started, but it's the perfect.
Talk about getting thrown in.
Yeah. So he's
true experience for like those who don't know, never had that opportunity to learn.
Yeah, so that'll learn real quick. What was like your most bizarre or interesting removal story? I'm sure you've got a plethora. Give us that one. Give us that one that hits. We got funeral directors listening, so you can enlighten us. Come on now,
Sean. You want to go first on this one?
Well, all right. Obviously, we do calls for a lot of different entities and stuff, and we had a call that said dispatch, bariatric, severe decomp, and in confined space, more or less. Ooh. So, and then please call such and such for more details. And so the nice thing is with us, we have the staff to accommodate. We have all the proper equipment for bariatric removals and stuff like that as well. And definitely they sent 3 of the tallest people to go to this
you get the big guns out.
Definitely was. I'm 6'1", and my stand-up space was probably 3.5 feet. So I'm hunched over like a center of
yikes
with a quarterback, and I just took it as that. I'm like, gentlemen, I'm going to transfer the person. I'm going to just bring them between me, and you're going to take their end apart. Obviously, It was very, we want to be respectful for the deceased, and
of course,
and the person was there for at least a good 2-3 weeks, and it was like 90-degree weather. So you guys can imagine. So by far, that's probably one of my top 3 and stuff. So I'll just say
unpleasant. What
Yes.
kind of, I mean, you're talking about you guys have the equipment. What are you using in that narrow, confined space with, a very large person decomp? Like what are you using in that circumstance?
Well, I definitely got down into my shorts and t-shirts and went into a Tyvek, and then I have some pretty much like combat boots too to
Okay.
allow me to get into there because the house itself was a known drug house. So one of the other
Oh,
things, some of the other things you always want to just be, we have the staff that's educated on preparing, for these types of calls as
situation.
well,
Yeah.
situations. So the three of us got all in our little Tyvek outfits and masks, and sometimes you have to hold your breath for a moment,
Oh yeah.
as we all know. And then obviously the person, luckily, it was still a lower level of a house, so by getting past those challenges, then getting the person up the steps too afterwards. But
Right. So tell us about that. What kind of devices are you using in that circumstance?
well, a lot of times, well, with this person, we did. Luckily, they had the three of us, and then a couple other assistants that came
Mhm.
in that were at the scene, I'll say, and so luckily we had 4 to 5 people that could help us bring a person up there. But
Yeah.
we've done calls though in the past, and that's the big thing too. There are other trade services out there, which I'm not knocking them, but you know, can they handle a 700 or 1,000 pound person?
Right.
Because we have a staff of at least 30 people,
Hmm.
and so we can handle those unusual calls as well.
Sure.
I mean, we definitely, and Anthony probably can share some of those stories too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geez, that's tough. All right, Anthony, let's go. Let's hear yours. I hope it wasn't on the day you dropped 26. So
No.
ah,
So, one of them kind of stands out to me as more just like funny, I guess.
okay. Love it. Love it.
So, this was prior to Compassion. The place of employment that I had an extension for pets,
Okay.
and so this is like the first week of August. So kids are out of school. It's a nice bright summer day, and we get a call for a pet at a home.
Hmm.
Of course, we're going to be on our way. We're going to assist you with this. Well, what had happened is on Friday night, so the Friday right prior to the Monday, which is the current day, I guess the family dog had passed away.
The
Okay.
long time to wait.
So we go to the front door and ring the doorbell. Oh, good, you're here. And we thought we were going to go in, and the owner says, "Follow me." Okay, so we follow her, and the garage door is open, and you see one of those big chest freezers. I'm like, oh,
No.
perfect. They put the pet in the freezer. That makes sense. So we keep going past the garage, around the corner of the house, down the side of the house, and we're walking, and she goes, "Here we are." They attempted to bury the dog at home in the yard, but they went like a foot and a half.
Uh-huh.
And so they were tired of the wildlife trying to get to the
Oh
dog. So they
no.
called us. And so my partner and I just look at each other. And as that happens, the owner of the home goes, "Kids, get the shovels."
They were gonna come to help assist.
And so, I'm thinking, okay, this is what I have to do. It's my job. That's fine. But
Yeah.
also, I imagine it's outside perspective. You have two grown men in suits and dress
Right.
shoes with shovels on the side of a house digging something out of the ground.
Oh my gosh.
And then
That's
we had to take
impressive.
the little tiny pet cat that we had and eventually
Yeah.
get the pet over and go. But yeah, that was an out there one for me.
And unpleasant for sure. I thought you were gonna say there was some sort of giant animal like in the garage or something.
They buried a pet horse or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like it's a horse or a cow back there. That's great. Anthony, you told me about something that you guys did recently that I thought was pretty cool. You did like some cot training where actually you
Mm.
graduated from mortuary school. What was all that about? Let's hear all about it.
So part of our mission is to encourage self-development. And because of that, we have an apprentice program.
Mhm.
And so we collaborate with Worsham as well as Malcolm X. And we actually do this event for both colleges. But
Mhm.
recently, we just had our COT training lab over at Malcolm X College there in Chicago.
Cool.
And the nice thing is they have a nice facility, so we're able to give the kids some real hands-on experience and actually know what they're doing prior to getting out of school.
I never had
Nothing
that.
like having a license and not knowing how to use a cat.
For sure. I'll never forget it. Like my dad, I didn't know how to use a cot. Like my only experience was like helping him. Like I think it was like a removal for my grandmother. Actually, was the first time I actually ever helped. And I was like, I don't know how to use anything. And I guess this is a side story. I'll go into two. I'm helping my dad. My grandmother passed away. She was very sick for a long time. So it was very much a blessing where we all, one of those type of relief almost situations, sweetest woman to ever live. Anyway, it's the middle of summer. My dad's a good sized fella, and we're having to move grandma, and she's down a tough corner. So we're having to pick up and raise the cot to get through, and he is just like dripping sweat. My whole family is there. They just start laughing because they've seen him his whole life doing this, and he's soaking sweat with grandma, and it was just funny. That was my first one, but I'll never forget the way I learned how to use the cot when I was, I don't even know if I was in my early 20s maybe or something like that. And he put on like a bunch of books on the cot and like strapped them in, and it might have been like the prayer book that every priest or minister uses, like the Catholic ceremony one, the one I'm talking about, the light brown one. He must have had 6 of those on there practicing, so I had a little bit of resistance and weight, and that was the only way I learned to go in and out of like the van with the cot, was that. So that's awesome that they're getting some real hands-on training.
Yeah, we did one up at Warsham too, not too long ago, earlier this summer, and we tried to create a lot of different scenarios. We also were able to bring in a hearse, so that allowed people to utilize the casket and also the church truck.
Right.
Just those little things, and giving those students that opportunity to learn and
actual experience. Yep.
You guys all know this, but maybe some of your folks outside of our region, we always call a Chicago style. We all know what a Chicago style transfer is. That's when we have to lift that person straight up. We get them around that little doorway because of those little bungalow homes.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So for your listeners out there, they're like, what the heck is this Chicago style? Well, we all have done it, but it'll definitely teaching the kids or the students what that is as well. So they definitely can have that knowledge as they
split my pants on a Chicago style one, so that was pretty impressive. I'm sure we all have.
I'm basically I know for a fact that if you have not split your pants as a funeral director, you haven't been funeral directing long enough.
Yeah.
That's correct. Or you're one of the smart ones, and you've gone directly to the stretchy pants, and you never had the real pants. That's the key factor.
Definitely. And it's beneficial that they do this, because I'll share one quick story.
Sure.
It happened. 2 things happened to me, or twice, one time, where I'm out on a call, and it was somebody who hadn't utilized the cots, and every cot's made differently.
Right.
And I remember we had somebody, and this is early in my years ago, and to where that person hit the release and the cot came down and it pinned me between the wall. So I was pinned underneath, and the person was already strapped in and stuff. And luckily no family was there, but it was just one of those moments where I'm caught underneath it and trying to figure out how am I going to get myself out of that. That person, obviously, that who was helping me,
right?
Eyes are like,
like, what do I do?
Yeah, what do I do? I'm like, just all right, 1 second. We're gonna have to transfer this person first, the cot off my leg, and then we'll readjust and get the person back up and stuff. Luckily, those are those horror cases. The person was fine.
It can be a dangerous job. It really can. And I think when you do it long enough, you realize that injury is an absolute concern, which is why we need to take the steps to be as careful as we can, and we deserve to have some very good insurance, and deserve to have some of those breaks sometimes, so you can let those muscles relax a little bit once in a while.
Definitely.
I know you guys got some you're trying to expand and help with your knowledge from the students, but as well as I think is actual licensed funeral directors with continuing ed and trying to bring some new energy and some new passion to that. I think this is every state, not just Illinois, but I think we're overdue for some revamping of the CE that we're doing, even on the national level. In my opinion, that I like to see that there is some progress, like being conducted, I suppose. What are you guys doing with CE? And I know you have a new event coming up that people might be interested too. So give us the rundown.
Sure, absolutely. One of the key things when I came on board, Compassion was doing small little continuing education events. And then I was talking to Chris, the owner. I said, we need to build this and make it a little bit bigger, grander.
I gave a speech at one.
Yeah, you did.
We did some marketing Jeopardy, some funeral marketing Jeopardy.
And exactly. And I saw the potential of what we had, but we were limited to our spot.
Right.
So now our next event is going to be Thursday, October 10th at the Rivers Casino in Des Plaines, Illinois. I mean, they have roughly about an 8,000, 10,000 square foot venue we're working at. So we have 7 speakers that are going to be there.
Wow.
So you're going to get 3 funeral director hours, 3 embalming hours, and then like 1 trade show hour. And you're actually going to get a buffet style lunch and kind of continental breakfasty stuff at no cost. This is all provided for free. And this is the vision that we try to do for our funeral directors.
So you can save the cash that you would have spent on so many CE hours and hit the casino after, make
Absolutely. I mean, that's just something we've been doing, and we try to do 4 of these events per year.
That's awesome.
But I have to give credit. It started off with a few of us, but now we're getting different vendors that are helping us. So, and we actually have sponsorship levels for different vendors. So if I could, can I share?
Of course. Yeah, let's hear.
So obviously we have Compassion is the one who leads it. We have Chicago Water and Fire Restoration, or CWF, the Messenger Company. Now they have the 3.
They're big time. Oh yeah.
They're big. Messenger, Express Funeral Funding, and Thumbies. That's all kind of under the Messenger umbrella. I'm really excited about this one. American Coach Sales, they're coming, so we're going to have a couple of their vehicles. They're going to be down at the valet parking area of the casino.
People are going to go running away from the casino thinking something bad's going on down there. Well, you might actually get a spot at the table. I don't know if I've ever gotten a spot at Rivers before, so you'll be lucky there.
Yeah.
Maybe the minimums will go down too.
Yeah, the cool thing, I got a tour of that facility, and they took me kind of the behind the scenes where they actually have a small private venue where bets are minimum $50,000. I'm just like, wow. It's just like you can rent that room out and stuff. And
that'll take a lot of 26 call days, Anthony, for you to be sitting at that table.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to be that private.
Yeah, exactly. If I may, Dodge. Everybody knows Dodge.
Sure.
And the great thing with that is Sean Sweetman and Jack Adams.
Yeah.
Jack Adams, they're going to be our speaker, part of our presenters.
Nice.
Poet Study. For those who don't know what Poet Study is, they do holy cards and stuff like that in the Chicagoland area. And then Lake Forest Caskets. Those guys are great. They're actually going to bring a few caskets out. And there's a few others, Nice. I know you guys are going to probably represent yourselves out here too. So
yeah, we'll be out there.
Yep. Give yourself a plug.
Yeah, if you're in Chicagoland, you got to get over. I mean, when are you going to get an opportunity for free CE? Even if you're on the outskirts, come on down. I mean, clearly get 7 hours that you can get right there for free. You're getting lunch. You're going to gamble. You're going to get to see all 3 of us. Come on, what else do you need?
Exactly.
I love it. Well, thanks guys so much. Give us one more shout out. What I know October 10th, I believe the date is. What are the hours? And it's at Rivers Casino. One more time for us listeners.
Yeah. So from 8 to 5, we'll get registration, walk in, get everybody registered from in between 8 and 9 a.m. and the classes start at from 9, and they will go up to about closer to 5 o'clock. So it's a long day, but for our vendors, they're going to get at least 2-hour time with the the students as well, or the directors as well. So there's a lot of benefits for owners, managers, and employees, because you're going to get those free continuing education hours, but you're also going to get that opportunity to have those one-on-one conversations with some of our vendors at that event as well. So we'd love to have everybody there.
Yeah. And how do we register? If someone's not registered, how do you get on that?
So I would say the best way is going to Compassion. So Compassion as in Frank, S as in Sam.com. And then just go to our event page and you can go directly and register there. We do actually have social media, Facebook. We have QR codes that we use too. So whatever's the easiest, or just call our main line and we can get you. But I would say the website's going to be your quickest way for funeral directors and also vendors if they wish to participate as well.
Awesome. I'll do you one more. I'll put the link in the description for this podcast, and we'll throw it on all of our social too. So that way people got it nice and easy. There's no reason not to get your CE. I know we all love to scramble at the end. Let's get it a little bit early this year, huh?
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Anthony, Sean, thank you guys so much for everything you do on the Compassion side of things, helping out families, helping out funeral homes. That's huge. And honestly, spreading the education, so important for helping the young funeral directors out. And then us old timer-ish is as well, getting our CE done and making it a little bit more entertaining, more fun, and more things that we can take away from it. We appreciate you guys.
Most definitely, Michael. Thank you for having us.